crowds chanting death to America and death to Israel, as well as waving signs with threats against Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu. Do you endorse those chants and signs, or do you condemn them?
Death to America and Iran, and I may have said this on your show before, shouldn't be taken literally. It's like saying Yankee go home doesn't mean that anyone who carries a U.S. passport should leave the country. When they say death to America, they mean death to the U.S. empire. And they mean death to this oppressive regime which slaughters our children. So I think it's understandable. If what the United States had done to Iran was carried out by Iran against the United States, slaughtering the leaders and slaughtering people and school children, I think the United States would have done more than chant death to Iran. They would have probably used a nuclear weapon. So I think words shouldn't hurt the American government so much. When you see all the dead children in Gaza and in Lebanon, and the massacres and the genocide and the dead children in Iran, I think it becomes understandable when people say death to America. Just like, in your case, you invited this woman on your show who said when they're finished with me, she said, with me, the biggest part of my body will be my little finger. And you invited her on multiple times afterwards, so I guess you don't have a problem with that.
I have a problem with anyone making threats against anyone.
Well, if it was my show, I wouldn't have invited such a person again.
Well, people say that a lot about me inviting you on.
I never said I'm going to cut your body into bits.
No, but you've given a rather torturous justification of chants of death to America and death to Israel, which most people aren't buying.
Well, yeah. Well, if chemical weapons were used against your country with the endorsement of the United States, if a couple of 100,000, if an airliner was shot down by, you were in a country whose an airline was shot down by the United States. If you were living in a country which was under maximum pressure sanctions, which prevent food and medicine from getting into the country, if you were in a country where the United States has waged 3 wars against it, they encouraged Saddam Hussein to invade, last year they attacked, and this year attacked, I think you would understand how people in Iran would feel about the United States government.
And you've carefully glossed over, of course, the fact that this Iranian regime has sponsored terrorism all over the Middle East, including funding and arming the Houthis, Hezbollah and Hamas. Does that not enter your thought process when you analyze this situation?
The only terrorist regime in our region is the Israeli regime, the one that you refused 3 times already. When I asked you, do you accept the legitimacy of an ethno-supremacist regime, and you refuse to answer, that is the only terrorist regime. They carried out genocide in Gaza. They carried out genocidal attacks in Lebanon. Just yesterday, they murdered a principal of a school, her husband, and their maid. And every day in Gaza, they're killing multiple people every single day, children, men, women.
Well, your regime spent the first part of the year murdering thousands of protesters on the streets of your country.
No, I think you know the truth by now. We've already seen admissions by the Israeli regime, Channel 14 of Israel, saying that they brought in the weapons that were used to kill hundreds of Iranian police officers. We know that the U.S. Secretary of Treasury said, I manipulated the Iranian currency to bring people to the streets, and then Channel 14 said they gave the weapons to kill people. We saw Trump admit that he sent weapons for Iran. We saw Pompeo admit that Mossad is on the ground in Tehran during the riots. And we also saw how the Israeli Mossad in their Persian language media said that we are on the ground. We are with you in Iran too.
It must be carried out the armed insurrection. You know what, Professor Marandi? It must be so frustrating. It must be so frustrating, if I may say so. It must be so frustrating for you to see your perfect regime be so unfairly maligned by everybody that they would think that actually, if only we knew just how blameless and perfect and idyllic life is in Iran under your regime. But maybe, as you say, maybe I'll have to come there and see it for myself.
I think that would be an interesting idea. But I think that you know quite well that the victim is Iran. The victim is Palestine. The victim is Lebanon. The victims are the people of this region.
Well,
and the best way
I definitely would categorize. I would definitely categorize.
Is to accuse
there are definitely people in Iran, Iranians, who are victims of your regime.
We saw them on the streets, didn't we? We saw them on the streets today and yesterday and the day before. We saw them.
We've seen crowds